Good evening aspirants, Shobhit this side. Thank you for your response in the last video. Now we will go about GS paper wise. So first we will go with GS paper 3 mains analysis, my personal experience. Overall you must by yourself have seen the GS3 paper, so you will have some idea. But I want to give what I experienced in those 3 hours and a little bit of brainstorming at it and what strategy I followed. Because as you know, GS3 is the biggest in terms of syllabus wise. It has 5 subjects in itself. As you know, it has economics, agriculture, internal security, science and tech, and environment. So in itself is a very big topic, and that comprises only one GS paper, that is GS3. So let us begin without wasting any time. So as you know, GS paper 3 is on the third day of the exam. The first day is essay, second day is GS1, GS2, and the third day is GS3. So it's the first half, 9 to 12. So in that, what happens is that when you get the question paper 5 minutes before, make sure that you brainstorm at least 3 to 4 questions. I'll show you. See, when we get the question paper, it's like this. You get this. So don't read question 1 or 2 at all. Just go straight to question number 11 here. This. So first of all, what happens that when you have the 5, because see the question paper itself is very big. It has around 7 pages. Let me confirm. Yes, 7 pages. So unlike GS1, GS2 paper, where only 4 pages are there, here 7 pages are there. So you make sure that GS3 is one of the lengthiest paper apart from GS4. So always start from question number 11. So we'll start from question number 11. So what I did in the first 5 minutes, I brainstormed question number 11, 12, 13, and 14. This I was able to do because question number 12, 13, 14, I had already prepared one pager notes of these topic. So this was very quick. Question number 11 was a bit of a bouncer, but I had prepared what is fiscal health in general. So I was able to brainstorm from this point and compare it with the state aspect, like debt to GDP ratio, fiscal burden of states like Punjab, Haryana, Maharashtra, which have, I knew the percentage of those states. Then the committee reports, then Article 293, where states borrowing as and the states GSDP percentage, like I think it is around 8.8% of overall India's GDP, something that I'm not sure right now. So what happens is that I knew the exact data of which states has the net to GSDP ratio, and overall how much fiscal burden the state has with respect to GDP. Then also I wrote about the FRBM Act, where we have 40% and 60% target, and how much state has achieved. So in this, what happened is that I did not know who introduced fiscal health index. It was either RBI or Niti Aayog. Was a bit confused, so I did not write exact name. So make sure that when you don't know the who coined or which article, please don't bluff. It's worse because I've seen in GS paper 2, lot of aspirants have, or this year have written article 78 or 79 for attorney general, and I think it is article 76. So that blunder is a very big blunder. Don't make factual blunder in mains. It will give a negative impression. So I wrote fiscal health index is released by government department. Did not give which. I just wrote the government of India. It released by government of India. So Niti Aayog is part of government of India. So that is good. Then 12th production link incentive also I knew that there are around 13 plus 1 production link incentive schemes. So I just in the introduction I wrote what is production link incentive, how many sectors are there in that. So overall what I want to tell you is that when you start a question, always give either a fact or a definition. It has all, as you know, introduction, body, conclusion is there, but make sure that in GS paper 3 you always substantiate with facts. Facts are always very helpful in substantiating your answer. Then similarly, question number 13. So 13 is a very direct, Niti Aayog composite water management index, 600 million people are water stressed. So that data, this has to be prepared beforehand, so that you know that question you are hitting the bullseye in questions where your data oriented analysis is needed. And similarly, question number 14, food processing industries. What important is that in these questions, not just 14, 12, 11, in overall try to give as much of government of India's data, like food processing industry, give data of Ministry of Food Processing Industry. Whatever data you have, always mention as per Ministry of Food Processing Industry, like groundwater depletion as per Niti Aayog. it substantiates your answer as compared to others who will only give data without the backing of which department or which government has given. So instead of giving around each question, so not we'll see that what theme has been repeated in UPSC, because right now what you understood is that you need to have a introduction, a body, and conclude. Please make sure that you fill all the 3 pages. In 2 also you can, but in 3, in the 15 marker, from end to end you fill. In all my 15 marker, I had very little space for conclusion because I filled from end to end, but I made sure that I wrote conclusion in each of the questions. Whatever, sometimes even if it seems very simple, if you have only SDGs right, make sure you give conclusion in every answer. Like in production linked incentive, I wrote in conclusion that apart from production linked incentive, we need to focus on employment linked incentives, and which the government is actually doing now. From production it wants to focus on employment, and that was in current affairs. So end any way you like, but always have a conclusion ready in your mind. So you can see that 11 was a bit of a bouncer, but I was able to handle it very well, and I completed it well. 12 was current, you can say a bit of current. 13 is lot of PYQ. 14 is PYQ. 15 is PYQ. Nanotechnology and pharma, I think this is direct PYQ if I'm not wrong. 16 is current affair. It's very important. It was expected that it would come. 17 was a bit tough for others, but for me it was similar because my this topic was similar to my optional geology, so I was able to give answer a bit specific. I was able to give. Otherwise, you can see that this question for few of the people were a bit of a bouncer, but I was able to manage it well because of my optional help. But suppose if you don't know, no? Okay, suppose we will see that 17th question. If you don't know how you do, it's similar to how question number 11th I did. So what you do is that you break the question. The question is mineral resources are fundamental to the country's economy, and these are exploited by mining. So it's a two-parter. Mineral resources fundamental to country's economies and exploited. So you have to give both in introduction. How they are fundamental, how they are exploited. So you give that part in just 2-3 lines, not much. And then it is asking if mining is considered as an environmental hazard. I always give types of mining here, so that the examiner understands that you know that different types of mining will have different environmental hazards. Like open mining, underground mining will have different hazard. Open mining will have different hazard. Like open mining will have landslide issue. Underground mining will have groundwater issues like acid mine drainage. So different types of mining will give an answer more specificity, because we know that in GS3 everyone will be able to answer question because it's a bit generic. But if your answer becomes specific, your marks will get increased because you will be able to differentiate your answer from the rest. So that was the main. 18th was very factual. It is mostly prelims oriented. This was, so we can say that 19th was straight PYQ. Straight PYQ. 20 also, I think so. It is PYQ because maritime security has been asked. What I will tell you is that in internal security, very important to draw a map of India, and in Northeast, draw a map only of Northeast. Expand it so that your answer gets more specific. Don't draw the whole map. Draw the map of only Northeast India and show. So in this, suppose in 19th question, I drew the map of Northeast India, and on Myanmar side, I drew a triangle and labeled it as golden triangle. And above, I marked China, which then I highlighted in between, and I wrote in between state actor supplying arms and ammunition. Then in Bangladesh, infiltration. So demographic changes happens because illegal immigrations happen from Bangladesh. Myanmar, drugs, arms supply, insurgency. So when you draw the map, just don't draw and just label small thing. Give specificity. Myanmar, China, Bangladesh, Golden Triangle. What these countries do in our situation. So you have to be very specific what you are doing here. If you are able to make your map specific, examiner will give you marks. Don't just draw Northeast map and label. Be very specific when you're making. Similarly, in maritime security, draw the whole map of India, mark the maritime region, and then what are the maritime security, just with arrow in the Indian map, mention maritime security, drug infiltration, coastal security, write 2611 challenge. Then from Sri Lanka side, people don't generally write this. Write fisherman issue. These are also very important issues. Then write C line of communication, very important word, C line of communication. That is a very important because India acts as a central point. It's, you can say it's a transit 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 from west to east or east to west. That's why we are focusing on making transshipment hub in India in Kochi. Kochi, yes. I'm sorry, maybe I'm forgetting the name. In Kerala it is. So we are trying to make one transshipment hub there. So very important that you mention this. So in this question, like make map of India, and in the introduction, write give a data. Always give a data, and always make sure that your map has specificity. Not just in 1920. In this paper, I also drew map. Wait, in food processing industry, I drew a circle, and on the left side I wrote input, and on the right side I wrote output, and in the circle I wrote food processing. So for example, in the input I wrote potato, and in the output I wrote Lays. Very important that food processing, that how you convert an agricultural product into a marketable product. Milk will convert to dairy or butter or ghee. No, sorry, not ghee. So that's what you have to do. Make sure that your answer has specificity. Like also in mineral also, in this I drew the map of India and showed where different types of mining are happening, so that I could get a better edge over others. So that's what I did. And then 1920, then also in 10 marker, in question number 9 and 10, you see terrorism and this left wing extremism. I drew the map of India and terrorism. I drew the map of India. I showed terrorism from Pakistan. I showed how Pakistan uses Nepal to use infiltrate people into India, because India and Nepal have porous border. So from there, and then fake currency notes, because it is asking specifically from India. So you have to write and see, it is asking, it is saying terrorism is a global scourge. So just expand how it is a global scourge in one line and give data that how it has manifested in India. Just write, as per terrorism index, India is ranked 14th in the world. I knew this data, so it gives you idea that you know the current relevance, and that's so that in the whole world, out of 196 or 197 countries, India is the 14th most affected by the terrorism. So like that, it gives specificity to your answers. And then while drawing the map, make sure that you are able to give specific example in the map. Right, 2611, right, Pahalgam attack, right, parliament attack from Pakistan to India, right, drug, right, in military, not military, infiltration by the terrorist. So right, give these in the map only, so that the examiner, when he sees, he knows how you are saying manifested. Instead of just writing in your points, you're showing in the map. Visual impression is a better way of enhancing your answer. And then when you write countermeasures, so you all know the example, we will not go with each question specifically. So make sure that your diagram is enhanced. It's not just making a diagram of India and just showing that this is terrorist affected area. Give specificity. Same way with left wing extremism, draw map of India, draw left wing affected area, and then draw 3 specific regions like tri-junction, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Chhattisgarh, Andhra, and Odisha, and then Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Chhattisgarh. So just write tri-junctions in the map only. Just point out and then write tri-junctions. And always in this give with data that how number of left-wing extremist districts have decreased from 96 to 96 to 26 and now to 18. So these data you should always give, and then give whatever example and whatever question is demanding, and always give conclusion. This I concluded that red corridor has now reduced to red spots, very small. So always give a positive, that forward looking answer in 9. And then the seawater intrusion, I drew the diagram of seawater intrusion coastal aquifer. A lot of candidates might not have known how to draw a diagram in this, so definitely draw a diagram of seawater intrusion of coastal areas. It will enhance your answer. Carbon capture, in this diagram was not needed, but I highlighted with case study. I wrote case study and boxed it and wrote case study of Iceland, and this was in news, so I wrote Iceland case study. Then biotechnology is PYQ. When I say PYQ, 9 and 10 is also PYQ. 8 is not. 8 is a bit outlier, but I knew this. I had already prepared this. 7 similar. It's normal. It's prelims. Generally, these are seen in prelims. We prepare this in prelims. 6 is PYQ. 6 is PYQ. 5 was a very good question, but this was all I had prepared this while between prelims and mains, so I was able to answer this. And what I did in this was I drew a diagram also of fusion of deuterium and tritium, how it fuses to make helium. So that I was able to draw with in a diagrammatic form that I did. And I wrote India's contribution also I wrote, and I wrote one specific example of India in ITER, where India is also making a fusion reactor named as Aditya. And then I wrote various whatever the question demand is there. 4 is okay. 4 was I was able to only write 1.5 page. This was one where my time constraint was happening in this question, but whatever happened, I wrote at least 1.5 page. I did not left it. Left this question. I had only 2 minutes for this question, because in this paper I drew a lot of diagrams with a lot of detailing, so that took a bit of 2-3 minutes extra. So only I had 2 to 3 minutes for question number 4. So I was able to write 1.5 or less page, but I wrote it, did not leave it. 3 was PYQ. 2, what are the challenges in Indian economy? So this is basically current affair. This is happening right now with what US you can see through from US from that point. 1 was a bit tough. This is generally we prepare in prelims not only in this year, but you have to make do with this. So make point wise what is SDI, give data that India's rank is 131, if I am not wrong, or 130 SDI rank. Start with that, so that this data you have an introduction. Okay, he knows what is the current relevance. So and then give India's example, how SDI is there, what is inequality in India index. So from that point you can just generate different ideas of how to give about. So overall what I want to say is that GS3 is very holistic paper where so many different subjects are asked together. So make sure that you prepare your topic answer in notes in one pager format. It's very small